Welcome back to another installment of the Cardboard Stacker. This time I'm going to take a look at Flip City by Tasty Minstrel Games. Your goal in Flip City is to gain 8 victory ribbons or fulfilling the victory condition on the convenience store. You start with a deck of 9 cards, 4 residential area cards and 1 card each of the apartment, convenience store, hospital, factory, and Central Park. Now, you play this game in a very different way, apart from your normal deck building games. You see, the cards in Flip City are double-sided. When you shuffle cards, you must carefully shuffle them and the cards must be kept in its current side. The game recommends to shuffle your deck under the table since you're not allowed to look at cards further down the deck. Let's look at the residential card. On the front side, it's the residential area, and on the back, it has the apartment. Cards can flip and do different things when playing on the other side. For example, while benefiting from playing sad faces with the hospital, flipping to a church increases your sad face limit. Once you shuffle your deck, you're ready to play. I recommend that you hold your cards in this manner in front of you. Your turn begins in the play card phase. First, you may play the top card of your deck. Cards are played in front of you and the next card is shown on your deck. You may play as many cards as you wish or stop to move to the building phase. You may also reshuffle your discard pile to form a new deck. If you play more than 2 cards with sad faces, then your turn ends immediately. While you can play as many cards as you like, the residential area card must be played if it's on top of your deck, and each will give you a sad face. So be careful. When you decide to stop playing cards, you can move onto the building phase. Cards you play may give you cash to spend in this phase. There are 3 things you can do, but you're allowed to do only 1 per turn. You can either buy a card from the supply, flip a card that's already in your discard pile, or develop, which allows you to buy a card and flip it to its other side immediately. New cards that you gain are put onto your discard pile. When you flip cards, you do so by turning the card over when it's in your discard pile. You must pay for its flip costs. Though flipping may give you a different card effect, most of the cards will give you an opportunity to recycle it. If a flipped card is in your discard pile, you may recycle that card by flipping it to its original side and use its recycle effect. At the end of the turn, cards you play go to the discard pile, and any unspent cash, sad faces, or victory ribbons are not carried to the next round. Once you have 8 victory ribbons played in a single turn, you've won. Alternatively, if you are able to play 18 cards and a convenience store, then you win that way too. Let's go on to the review. Starting off with the box, it's small but sturdy, and it has a nice design. The card's quality is really great. It has a protective glossy finish, and the linen texture makes it easier to shuffle. The art is nice, reminds me of a little bit of Suburbia and Machi Koro put together. The rulebook, while the rule fold out, is good explaining the game and it's a short read. Moving on to the gameplay, the flipping mechanic is pretty neat. It gives the game its uniqueness and I find it interesting because both sides of the cards do work out with each other. Want your hospital to earn more money? Flip it to the church side to increase your limit. The cards are designed well in how they function in the game. The first side is like a starter and does basic stuff, and the other side, though it costs more to purchase, is a bit better and does some cool stuff. I also like there's 2 different ways to win, but I have yet to see someone win the convenience store. I played the solitaire game to learn Flip City, and it's a nice step getting into it. Unlike the main game, you need to score 8 ribbons before all the cards for purchase runs out. So if you have some extra time on your hands, it's a good place to start. The only component of the games is just the cards. It's almost a filler, but it's short enough to play between bigger games. Here are a few things I didn't like in this game. Flip City essentially has no theme. It didn't feel like I was building a city. I didn't see why giving a residential area to an opponent is a bad thing. The game only comes with 6 different types of cards. It's good enough for a handful of games, but after that you kind of explore through the game. So I guess an expansion is needed for this game to be a bit better. The residential areas nearly killed the game for me. That and the other recycle effect of the apartment cards where you get to stick your residential areas into somebody's deck is something I really didn't like in the game. There are 2 reasons to put a residential card into your opponent's deck. The first is just because the player might be winning, or you're ahead and so you can give away free residential areas to everyone else. If you're on that other side of the stick, that can really slow down the game. In 3 to 4 player games, the game tends to slow down a lot. And the game almost feels like a solitaire game. With the exception with the residential cards, it isn't a good amount of interactions between players. I feel that this game seriously needs some more. Here are some of my other thoughts on the game. The office cards could be put in the first play. Nobody in my game group had any trouble learning the game this way. The game was previously titled Design Town, which changed into Flip City for the American release, and maybe elsewhere. I like the name change and it makes sense. While I did say a few negative things about the game, I find it quite enjoyable. I find the solo play to be fun, and how the flipping mechanisms work make the game great. If you like small card games that play under an hour but still gives a good game experience, then Flip City is a good way to go. This is the Cardboard Stacker, and keep on stacking games.